she's not here, but the reason why federally it's still illegal, but in the states they voted to make it legal is, remember, the states each have their own governing body. If the federal government wanted to, they could go into each and every one of the states that has legalized those things and shut them down completely. And they have actually done that. They have gone in and shut down certain things, and they have been going through and doing certain things. But the federal government has said at this point that they will crack down on people that are doing things illegal as far as the state laws go. But they have let the states actually move forward with certain things. So like the dispensaries and stuff, they have to be following all the protocol to be a dispensary. And there is certain things. So the federal government could, if they wanted to, step in and squash all that.
Stopped a lot since 08. That's when they, Department of Justice.
But they are choosing not to at this point.
So they'd rather go after, maybe, let's say people were running in front of the border.
Right, yeah.
Go to the border with pounds on the back or something. Those people are after?
Those kinds of things. Yeah.
I found it early this year.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it wasn't like...
No, there's supposed to be one when you came into the program, and then there's one before you go out to your internship. So there will be another one, by the way, before you go out to your internships.
Why did I only have to do one last year?
Because it's a new rule.
Was that for part of
ASHP.
yeah.
Yeah, they kind of cracked down on us a little bit. Yep. I don't think it's a bad thing either. I mean, you're going to be around drugs all day long, so you should have some filtering. Okay. Handling of medical and pharmacy records. We left off talking about patient confidentiality. I just want to cover a couple other things. When you are correcting an error, when is it okay to correct an error?
When you find it.
When you find it?
You should probably bring the error to someone else's attention as well.
So, you think you should bring it to somebody else's attention? You just shouldn't correct it yourself and move on from there?
Well, if it's your error, I don't know.
Oh, what if it's my error and it could actually lead to some litigation and I don't show it to somebody else, I just correct it after it's left. Like I realize I misfilled a prescription, but I go back and fix the prescription in my computer database and...
That's not correcting an error.
Oh, that's not correcting an error? Okay, what's correcting an error?
Okay, I was going to say, well, can you give me an example of some of these errors?
Well, I'm asking you guys.
Correcting an error is taking responsibility. If it's your error. Making sure it's known, right?
I guess it would depend on what kind.
Okay. What are some errors that can happen in a pharmacy?
How about wrong patient address, maybe? Or
Okay, wrong patient address. So we could go back and correct that. We don't necessarily have to ask somebody else's permission to go and change an address, right? I really don't need to bring that to anybody's attention. We're just going in and fixing an address. What if it ends up being a patient date of birth?
Is it the same patient? It could be something else.
Oh, what if it's a different patient? Okay, so then we have to actually do some checking to see if we have the correct patient. What if it's insurance information?
Ooh, we'd probably have to let somebody know, wouldn't we? Because could there be misspelling and that could...
Yeah, if we misbilled something, we would have to go back and we would have to contact the insurance company and let them know. We'd have to let our company that we're working for know. We would have to fix things all the way. We would have to let the patient know, hey, we misbilled your medication. Okay, so it's always okay to correct something you've done wrong. It's just the procedure that you follow in order to correct that. What is it that you're going to do? Now, if it is on a medical record or a written document, the procedure that we use to check and make sure that we correct things there is to draw a line through what we did, initial it and date it, and make the correction directly underneath it. So that's if it's on a written record. Like if we were filling a prescription and we filled the prescription and we wrote the recipe on it, but we wrote the recipe down wrong or we did a calculation wrong and we had to go back and fix it, we would cross out the wrong part, initial it, date it, and put the correct information in there and make sure that we verified that we had correct information from there on out. Okay? all of our documentation is actually legal documentation. It can be subpoenaed to a court. So those prescriptions and all the things that we're doing can be subpoenaed. And so we don't want to go through and just cross things out so that nobody can see what's underneath it, because that looks kind of fishy, doesn't it?
Isn't there
I
like
would-
a policy for just doing one line through something? Like I've heard you say that, and then I
Yeah, where were you just 2 seconds ago when I said that?
Not here. Not here.
One line through it, initial it, date it, correct it. I just said that twice, actually.
One line, right? No.
Oh, yeah. If you scribble it all out, what do I think you are trying to do? You're trying to hide something from me. And I'm going to figure that out. I'm going to look at it and go, okay, you're trying to hide something from me. So we want to make sure that when we're correcting things, that we're not covering up the information that's underneath it. Because really, when you make an error, and I think one thing, not only as a pharmacy person, but as a scientist and as an educator, for me and for most people in the practice of pharmacy, it's not necessarily that you made an error, it's that you recognize that you made an error and you know how to correct it. That is much more important than making an error. We all make mistakes. I don't know how many of you noticed when you were correcting your exams for Pharmacy 150, I made a mistake. I don't know how many of them I made it on before I handed them back. I made a mistake in grading. I was marking something wrong and going along and marking it wrong and marking it wrong. Somebody else brought it to my attention. It's very easy to make a mistake. We all do it, especially when you're grading like 40 exams at any given point. You might make a bit of a mistake on that. But it's human nature to do. What do? We correct it. We move on. We learn from that experience, and then we say, we're going to write our exam key much better next time. Right? Okay. Retention and storage of records. Do you guys remember how long we have to hold on to records and where they get stored and what all we're doing?
In Washington or in Idaho?
In either one.
In Washington, it's up to 2 years, and in Idaho, it's 3 to 5.
Okay, Idaho 3 to 5, and Washington up to 2 years. Some states I mentioned to you up to 7 years of keeping that data, and we typically put it in either on a hard drive type thing that we can retrieve information out of, or we keep physical copies of stuff. It depends on the information that we're storing and keeping. So if we're keeping patient database information, that's going to be on a hard drive inside of computer mainframe, and actually is in most cases backed up daily on a disk that is removed from the computer system that then goes into a fireproof safe. Just in case anything would happen, you'd still have that data and you'd be able to go back and retrieve that data from that disk. Okay? So the stuff that we put in computers now, we still have to figure out how to back that information up as well. Okay? Our computers back here, because we are on a mainframe outside of NIC, it actually is backed up at a different location, and every day when I go back in and I log into it, it actually dumps my information back into those computers every day as we go back into it. So it's kind of cool. I don't have to do the maintenance of backing up my system every day. I just automatically get sent somewhere else, and they're backing up that data for me and verifying it when I log back in the next day, which is totally cool. Okay, release of records. If we're releasing records in the pharmacy, what type of records might we be releasing? Patient profile. What do you mean by a patient profile? Prescription history. Remember I said in order to release a prescription history, the person themselves has to be there asking for it, or they have to have given signed permission for somebody else to pick up that report. I mentioned the case of the man and wife that were getting divorced, and he came in and got a copy of her report and used it against her in court. Our pharmacy got in trouble for that because we should not have given him the information. Okay? But we didn't know they were getting divorced, and they had frequently come in and done that previously, and it was no big deal. Well, it was a big deal in that case, and so we shouldn't have done it. We honestly should not have given that information out. So you do have to have written permission, and it does have to be signed by that person or by their legal representation, which could be a parent or a guardian at that point. Okay. Okay. So those purchases, typically each year, you'll get people coming into the pharmacy and asking you for a list of the total amount of money that they spent on their prescriptions for the year. Because it is something that you can include in your taxes, as if you do itemized taxes, you can include prescriptions in there as one of the things that you're spending money on. And it can actually give you a tax break if you spend enough money.
So 35% of your income.
Is that what it is?
The itemized total,
It has for
Yeah.
medical.
for medical, your total medical bill has to be 35% of your total income.
That's what it was last year.
Which some individuals spend that much money on their medical, okay? So you will get people coming in and asking you for a list of their medications. And it is fine, it's perfectly fine, as long as the patient is the one requesting it or you have a signed document from somebody else. But what they're asking you to do is go back from the very beginning of the year to the end of the year and print off what's called a tax report. And it may be called something different. It might be a medication report or drug utilization report, but it actually lists the dollar amount on it. So you may, those of you who are working and may get requests like that, you may ask them how you run one of those reports or what you do in order to get them the total cost that they've spent in the last year for those reports, because it includes all refills, everything that they've filled in your pharmacy for the year. Okay. The pharmacist, because it is going as part of a tax document, the pharmacist actually should sign the form, because that makes it a legal document instead of just a copy of the information. So they should actually sign it. Some of them don't. The way we do taxes nowadays is totally different. I mean, I keep every single last document and receipt and everything. But now most people do their taxes online, and very few of us get audited and asked for that documentation. We don't have to send it all in anymore. Very interesting way we've changed. I don't know. Okay, so technology threats to confidentiality. What are some threats that you guys think there might be out there to technology?
Hackers.
Okay, computer hackers getting into our computer database and getting information. Why would they want to do that?
You've got date of birth, you've got name, address, social sometimes.
Okay, we got lots of information about patients in there that we could use to do what with? Identity theft could be a big thing. Credit card information, possibly, in there. Anything else that might be in there?
Pacemaker model numbers, if you want to get really paranoid.
Okay, pacemaker model numbers.
If you have a cell phone and you know what you're doing,
Oh, that's scary.
That's a little James Bond.
Watch out for that.
Well, now I'm intrigued.
Thank goodness I don't have a pacemaker. There's a reason why I continue to run, so students can't bump me off. Okay. Anything else? On that patient profile, there is other information I may want out of that patient profile.
What kind of drug?
What kind of drugs you're taking? What if I am a drug company and I want to gather data on the information about how many people are actually getting this drug filled at this pharmacy? I could actually look at their data and say, oh, they filled this many prescriptions for this many different people by getting into our database. Because we can run reports based on the amount of medication we've, prescription for one particular prescription that we've filled. Okay? And yeah, it would be very advantageous to drug companies to be able to get access to your database as well, because they could actually track the sales of that medication very quickly in your system. Anything else? Insurance. We could have people use information in there for insurance fraud, or I know I think I mentioned to you guys the case where we had two ladies that had the same name in our computer system, and the technician that I always tell you guys about, merged these two ladies,
The ones that do not.
even though one said do not merge on it. And one of the ladies came in about a year after she had done that and said, I got this thing from my insurance company saying that I owe them money for a couple of prescriptions, and I never picked up these prescriptions. They weren't even prescribed for me. So we started doing a little bit of research and found out that the lady that came in and that the technician merged him for actually knew there was another lady with her name. And she insisted that she had insurance coverage and that the insurance information was in there and that they change it, and she was in the computer system with insurance, and you better fix that. So she was giving the technician a little bit of pressure. Come to find out, the lady in the computer system with the other name was her sister-in-law. So she knew that her name was in there. She knew that she had insurance. And she got her stuff filled on that insurance when she didn't have insurance.
Wow.
So we billed the insurance for her medications all the time when she didn't have insurance. So she was committing insurance fraud, and so were we.
So what happened? So how was the situation after?
We actually ended up going back to that lady, and she ended up paying restitution to the insurance company and to us for what happened. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, yeah, because she owed us money.
Oh, I see, okay.
The insurance company had paid part of it, so she paid them money, but then she owed us money on top of it because
The money would have been going to you.
the money would have been going to us. So, yeah, she was actually held legally responsible for what she did. Of course, I'm sure the family dynamics are not the same anymore. Okay, so and really easy for us to make the mistake on that, because here's this lady insisting that that's her profile, and why do we have her separate and not have her insurance on there? And what was the problem? The technician didn't really verify.
It was saying, can I see your ID?
Yeah.
By your address?
Well, and the date of birth,
Wrong?
because the date of birth had to have been wrong in order for it to go through the insurance company all those times.
How is it not the pharmacist's fault if one of the technicians merged it?
Because of the way the lady came in, and we could have potentially gotten in trouble if we hadn't pursued her and figured out what had happened. Then the insurance company, when they figured out what happened, could have come to us and gotten us. But because we initiated it and we said, hey, we called the insurance company and we said this lady came in and was doing this, and we realized there's a problem and we need to go back and take care of it. We did not get full compensation out of it, though. We actually ended up losing money on it. And that's kind of a lesson learned.
Which she just,
Yeah.
finish paying him?
No, they agreed to a lesser amount than what she
No.
would have had to, because she had to pay back the insurance company, too.
She shouldn't have done that then.
I know she shouldn't have.
You were brave.
Any other threats to technology that you guys see?
Probably like the malfunction of the equipment, which might not happen that often, but I don't know if that's a thing.
It's technology. It malfunctions.
I double check all those fax numbers every time now.
Fax numbers? Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up. So, guidelines for maintaining confidentiality. Shred confidential papers. Make sure that if they're no longer needed, they are disposed of and shredded so that nobody can use that information. Do you guys shred documents? I know that we've had several people come back and explain to us that they shred. Don't place them in the garbage. Even if you messed up on a prescription, don't throw the label in the garbage. Shred it. It has pertinent information on it. We don't want it out there. When you're sending a fax, make sure that the person that you're sending the fax to, you have the correct fax number, that you put the little confidential record on there so that they know that it is a confidential fax, and if they receive it in error, that they should contact you and destroy all documents if it's not intended for them. Okay, so when we are faxing things, we have to be very careful. The really nice thing about a lot of our machines now, our computer systems and things, is that they can fax automatically for us, but you still run into the same case. If you don't have the right fax number in there, it can go to the wrong person, even if our computer is faxing it. So,
Ask Mike, I don't think we have a confidentiality sheet.
a copy.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I would make sure you had a confidentiality cover sheet on them. That is really important. It's become much of a more accessible and more accepted practice to fax things, even though the advice is still is, we really shouldn't fax stuff unless we absolutely need to. But doctors' offices have now said they would prefer us to fax them for refills. They don't even want us to call anymore. It takes too much time for us to call and for them to retrieve messages off of a refill line, so they just want us to fax it so somebody can pick up the fax, go check, and then fax it back to us and let us know, or call us back, either way. But it's really kind of important that you really, really maintain good faxing etiquette when we're doing this. So, you should only fax the necessary documents. You should not be faxing anything other than what you need to fax. Case in point, if you're faxing for a refill on a medication, you should only fax the minimum information that you need to about that refill. A lot of computer systems actually have a refill request form that is actually printed off. You do not need to send the patient's whole profile saying, here's what they've got over the last year, okay, or even the last month, unless you're asked to send more evidence or information to the area. Then you could send that, as long as it falls within the realm of what is okay to be sending. And then one thing that's really important, you should not be using email to send confidential information. Why not?
Because then the recipient could just keep that information.
The recipient could keep that information, which is fine if it's going to the intended receiver of the information.
It's not a secure.
Yeah, email, how do you know that the person who is opening the email is actually the intended receiver of that particular information? Or that somebody else doesn't have access to their email account?
Forwarded accidentally, I've done that.
Or, yeah,
Accidentally to the wrong.
you've sent it to the wrong person. How many of you have actually know how to get into somebody else's email account today?
Not that I would ever do it.
Unless I knew the information on how to get in.
Most of us know how to get into other people's email accounts because they've asked us to, or because we're snooping,
No, it's,
or we've caught on to their passwords.
social engineering.
So if like, is the pharmacy covered if they send a fax with confidential information and they have the form with it saying that this needs to be destroyed if you're not the recipient? Are they covered if they sent to the wrong person?
They are covered to a certain extent, yes. So if you have the confidentiality statement on there saying that this, now a lot of people try to do that in email and say this is a confidential email if you are not the desired recipient. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't really matter if somebody opens your email and gets that information. But that confidentiality, yes, if you've done due process to check and make sure you're sending it to the right person. But if you continue to send a fax to the wrong person over and over and over again, and you know that you've had problems getting it to the actual recipient that it's supposed to be going to, and you're not checking up on that, doesn't matter if there's a confidentiality statement on it or not. You're not following due process to figure out who it needs to be going to. Okay? Okay. Do not allow other patients or any unauthorized staff members to view your computer screen that might have confidential patient information on it. It's really kind of an interesting thing. People like to pry, and they like to know information. So all of our computer screens should actually be turned so that customers can't see our computer screens from outside the pharmacy, or people who don't need that information don't need to see that information. Okay, kind of like the rock star thing where the other employees were looking up information. They didn't need to see that information at that given time. They didn't really have any reason to be accessing it, but they were, and that's unnecessary viewing of information.
So let's say, for example, the Walgreens
Uh-huh.
You can go to the drive-through and
You can see all their
literally see
screens.
the computer that's at the front counter.
Yeah.
See?
Oh, I never realized. I was like, huh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
She was typing in all this information.
If your eyesight's good enough,
Oh, at that time it was. Now, no, not so
you
much.
can see all the way in and see that. And that's part of the reason too. I don't know if any of you have ever noticed.
Those
You come to ask me a question about something, about your grade, and I open up the grade book and I start turning my screen away from you. Anybody ever noticed that? I've been sneaky enough that you haven't caught me. Because you guys don't have access to everybody's information, but I do. So I see everybody's grades and everything that's going. So that's just another kind of protocol. You kind of turn it away because you don't need to see everybody else's. I can show you your individual information, but I can't show you everybody else's information. Same thing. Okay? Do you have a question?
Well, you know how a lot of computers, if it stays inactive long enough, if you're not typing, they go black. Until you hit the key again. Do the screens do that in pharmacies?
A lot of them do not. They actually stay up and ready for you to put information in at any given moment. Do yours shut down at all?
No, there's no screensaver.
Yeah, no screensaver at all. None. I've never run into one.
Are there monitors that, I mean, I know they're monitors, but are they commonly used in healthcare settings that, I mean, unless you're looking directly at the monitor, I mean, even if you're a little bit off, you can't read
Yeah,
it.
those things are cheap.
Yeah, there are, and so there should be, that should possibly be employed in some of those pharmacies, but
I think that'd be like mandatory for just
yeah, unfortunately, people don't think about that. And sometimes we don't think about it either. We don't, I'm sure that Walgreens Pharmacy does not think that anybody from the drive-through can see the information on that computer. They probably don't even,
When I was in my car, I couldn't see it, but when I was in my truck, oh yeah, I could read it very clearly.
yeah,
And kind of same thing, the screen didn't turn off, so when she walked away, their information was still there.
could have very easily taken
And
it.
I was sitting in that drive-through for a good 15, 20 minutes.
I actually might call Walgreens and let them know.
Yeah, it's one case.
I'm just going to say, you know, I have somebody that informed me that they can see your computer screen. It's the one from the main counter.
If you're the main counter, you can't impose falls because it's off to the side.
Okay.
But they're straight in front of each other. And same thing, if you're standing at the counter, you can see drive-thrus.
Yeah.
Because they're back to back.
Okay. I might call them and let them know. Okay. I do have one other thing that we're going to, no, I don't want to end this right now. One other thing that we're going to do. We've been over this a couple times, and we've been over it in different classes. But I just want to review, and we probably don't have time to do all of the other things. So let's go over this, see how far we get. I want to see if you guys can name for me, and I'll write them on the board, all the things that need to go on a prescription. So the prescription from the doctor, when the doctor's writing out a prescription, what's the first thing that we need to have? Patient name,
Date prescription was written.
date of prescription, so that would be over, oops. Date of prescription. On the prescription from the doctor, we need to have the patient's date of birth
Yes.
written on the prescription.
Address.
No. No. Do we need, so you're asking if we need.
When the doctor writes out the prescription to send you to the pharmacy, do we need to have your date of birth? No. Okay. When we go to put you in the computer system, we're going to ask you for your address.
Yeah, because every
And
prescription
your
I've
date of birth.
gotten lately has my address written on it.
Sometimes the doctors write that out at the doctor's office, but we actually don't need the date of birth to be written on there until we ask for it or verify it at the pharmacy. The doctor doesn't have to write that down. Okay, what else do we need to have?
Name,
Bed name.
strain, route of administration.
Valid.
Oh, I got bad pins today. Amount. it said strength.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's strength or,
on the very top of the prescription order, shouldn't there be the doctor's name and the facility it belongs to as well as with the address?
it can be on the top or somewhere. Just has to be on there. Yeah, so we need,
Doctor's signature.
oh, look, I found one that works.
Woohoo!
And doctor's signature?
And potentially his DEA.
Might need DEA number.
If you can before not.
Refills?
Yeah, refills,
Dispense is written or
best
generic.
amount.
Dispense to authorize.
Oh, DAW or generic? What else?
Well, route of administration if it's,
Well, route of administration, I kind of left that off because it's not really route of administration that we need to know. It is
it's the SIG.
the SIG. Okay. Which gives us, which will
All
have
that
our
info.
route of administration and how often and frequency and all of that. So, when you're looking at a prescription, did we get everything?
I think so.
Isn't the doctor?
Contact number for, yeah.
I wrote doctor info up here, name, address, phone number,
Fax number.
fax number, all that. That's what I meant by doctor info. Anything else? Okay, and you notice that I kind of wrote it out like it normally is on a prescription blank. I was doing that on purpose. My overall, except for the different colors of ink. I was trying to find one that actually wrote that you guys could see up there. They're not very good. I think I need some different ones. Okay, so, you can tell how often I write on the board. I know, because I've tried to use that for you guys so that it was bigger. You could see it up there. When we're looking at a prescription, and you guys have done an exercise like this in 171, could you actually tell me if there was something wrong with the prescription and what needed to be changed on the prescription, if that was the case? You think you can? Quite
There's assignments
effectively?
in that you gave us.
Okay. We're not going to do it today, but on Thursday. We will go through, I have a series of prescriptions that I'm actually going to put up on the projector, and we'll look at them and see if we can determine what's wrong, what we need to fix, if there's pieces that, or if it's perfectly okay. There may be some that are perfectly okay. But what I think we'll do is we'll transcribe them and everything too. So we'll go through and make sure that we have all the information and also work through what they actually say and maybe possibly have to figure out routes of administration because sometimes it's not on there. We have to figure it out based on what the medication name is and what directions they've given us for that medication. Okay, so I don't think we have enough time to get through all of them, and I kind of want to do it all in one fell swoop so that you guys can kind of look at them and decide if yes, we have everything we need, or no, we don't, and then we'll practice. Wouldn't hurt you to have a little practice working on some of those SIGs. Okay, but I do have for you a little handout. You guys were pretty good.
Yep.
You got them all.
Isn't it like, is it 7 things or 8 things? I'm trying to remember what it's not the one.
I'll let you
Is this stuff to use for on Thursday? Or we're just gonna have this?
No, I want you to study it now so that on Thursday you're ready to go and can answer questions about it. Okay, that's it for today. Nothing else, because I don't want to do those. I know I'm letting you go 10 minutes early, but